911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was?
I can't tell. All I know is that my sensor light came on and I just happened to glance and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something that looks like a man. I don't know what it was. Just it ran across the yard.
There seems to be a Bigfoot leaning against a tree in a wooded area.
I have seen plenty of people with big feet, but not Bigfoot.
Tree lines and brush. He sees about a 7 and 7.5 foot tall Sasquatch looking back at him.
Kind of looks like a wolf, but not like a neighborhood dog.
Take these stories for what they are in hopes that maybe if it's out there, then show me.
Yeah. And says he might have caught the mythical chupacabra creature terrorizing his chickens.
Like a grunt and a knock. It's like a...
I think there's kind of a cultural tendency for people to want to make Bigfoot a quote-unquote monster.
Welcome to ECBRO Bigfoot Radio.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of ECBRO Bigfoot Radio, also on Bigfoot Zone ECBRO. Tonight, we got a special guest with us tonight. I'm excited to have with us. Please, everybody, give a warm welcome to Chadwick Gales. Chadwick, how you doing?
Not too bad. How you doing tonight, Dan?
Not bad. Not bad myself. I'm actually working on a few little minor things here that I'm trying to get situated. All right, there we go. Let me get my screen back on here. So, all right, it's not working. That might work. All right. Oh, no, that ain't what I want to do. I'm trying to get off face. There we go. I'm trying to get our faces back on the screen. So, all right. First of all, I know we talked about trying to get you on here before with doing one of our round tables in the past, which that didn't work out. I got rescheduled and postponed. So I'm actually glad to have you on here because, you know, we've been doing some small talk here and there. I've been learning a little bit more about you as, you know, one of the most recent things that's actually been intriguing to me is the three-toe tracks that you found, and we're going to get into that very shortly. And for the record, I do want to throw it out there. A lot of the viewers might not know what we're talking about, but I'll try to give them a rundown and a little bit of, you know, feedback on that. And again, I'll let you touch base on that too when we get into that. But for those who are listening and tuning in already, Chadwick, he's been exploring and researching for some years. And actually, before I actually go any further, I should let Chad. Do people call you Chadwick or Chad, or do you have any specific preference?
It doesn't matter. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever's fine.
Okay. I for some reason I find it easier to just say Chad, but so. But before I go any further and get into any other details, I was wondering if you could give me and the audience a little bit of a background on you. What got you started in this whole research? What started you in this, and what sparked your interest to look into the paranormal and the cryptid research?
Well, I've always been into the paranormal ever since I was a little kid. I mean, I can remember going to the library in elementary school, and I'd go straight for the Unexplained Mysteries books, the Bigfoot books, Loch Ness Monster books. So, I mean, like I said, I've been into it ever since I was young.
Right.
And, you know, you go through life, things tend to slip to the back of your mind. You go to work, you know, I don't know. Started a family, had kids, you know. Things started to get boring. You know, you go to work, you come home, you watch TV, go to bed, get up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed. I just got tired of the mundane rat race. And, you know, one day at work, I started listening to podcasts because I'd always listen to music. I work at a lumber mill, and I ran a big cutoff saw for 10 years. I'm a lumber grader now. I got a promotion and stuff. But, you know, it's a pretty boring job running that saw all the time. You just cut boards constantly, and I'd listen to music while doing that. One day I found these things called podcasts. I was like, oh, what's this stuff? So, me, I automatically go to the Paranormal podcast and start listening to them. And I started hearing about these people that go out and look for Bigfoot, look for ghosts, look for UFOs, and I was thinking, I could do this. I could definitely do this. So I bought some equipment and I started, because my wife and I were already avid hikers. We love to be out in the woods and outdoors and, So I got some equipment one day and I just went at it and started going out in the woods all the time. And actually, what really kicked it off from the beginning is one night, it was a Saturday night around 10 o'clock. I went out to my truck, I think I take a backpack with me to work with like snacks and stuff like that in it. I think I went out to my truck to get my backpack. Well, I went out the door and something just caught my eye. I looked up in the sky and there was a huge orb of light. I'd say it was probably about 150 yards up in the air. It's kind of hard to tell distance for stuff like that, but it wasn't up real far, but it wasn't real close either. And this thing, man, it was crazy. It would get real bright, then it would dim down and go out. Then it would light back up, get real bright. Then it would dim down and go out again. And then it started pulsing. It would like flash. It changed colors a few times. It was pretty wild. My wife and I were videoing it with our phones and everything. And through her phone, when it would dim down and go out, through the phone on her camera or the camera on her phone, it looked like it would explode into like thousands of tiny stars. But we kind of think that's just how, like, the camera technology wasn't very good back in the day. That was probably 12 years ago, something like that. Yeah. But it was crazy because it would dim down and go out, and it looked through her phone. It looked like it exploded into thousands of tiny stars. And that thing was crazy. It sat there for well over an hour. And across the street from our house is our garage, and behind our garage is a big hill. Top of that hill is a huge cemetery. Like, it's pretty old. There's graves in the one far corner from the 1700s, and that thing was floating up above the cemetery. So we got our kids, they were young at the time. They're all adults now, but we got everybody in the car and we went up in the cemetery and was sitting up there watching it. That's where we got like most of the video and everything from. So we were sitting there for a while watching, it would do its thing. It would start flashing. It would dim down, go out, light back up, change colors a few times. And it stayed in the same spot. It didn't like float around or nothing. It just sat in the same exact spot. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden it started to slowly drift off, and we tried to follow it, but we ended up losing it. And it was gone. That thing was amazing.
Real quick, I'm listening to everything you're saying. There's a couple things that slightly off subject. I got to touch base on a couple things. It's kind of funny. First of all, you were talking about how you got married and had kids, life got boring. Did I hear that right? Is the wife nearby hearing all this?
She's right here.
Oh, okay. She's just not slapping you on camera.
No, she gets bored too. I don't mean like with our family. I mean like
I had to pick on you on that. That's the way. That's the way I heard it, and I was like, I'm gonna pick on him on this. I gotta get him on.
No, actually, she does this stuff with me.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. The day I found those tracks, I was blowing her phone up like crazy because I actually took the day off from work just to go out and see if I could find anything, because the place I went, I heard there were a few sightings up there. Like I heard through the grapevine, and so I get like a lot of paid time off from work. So I took a sick day and I went up looking around, and she was still at work, and she worked in Morgantown, West Virginia at the time. And I was blowing her phone up like, you're not going to believe what I found. I was sending her pictures and videos of it and stuff. And when she got off work, she come up and met me up there. And her and I started casting, we made forecasts of the tracks and all that too. But yeah, she gets into it. She goes out with me sometimes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Talking about the tracks now, are you referring to the tracks that you've recently found?
Yeah, the three-toed tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. So, quick question before I say anything. I want to touch base on that real quick. Are you familiar, or do you know who Ken Gearhart is?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't know
So,
him, but I know who he is and I know of him. Yeah.
right. Okay. Well, Ken Gearhart, and of course, everyone jokes around saying his twin brother is Lyle Blackburn because they both wear the black leather hats. So,
Right. Right.
I've gotten to meet the both of them a few times, and they're great guys. They really are. They're
Right.
very down to earth and laid back, chill people.
Yeah.
Um,
It seemed like they'd be pretty cool guys. Yeah.
yeah, so I've been in recent contact with Ken, and it's like Ken, I like to get your expertise and your opinion on something, and and I'm doing this while I'm at work when I'm supposed to be working, but I'm on my phone chit chatting with whoever I talk to, and so I get in contact with Lyle, and excuse me, not Lyle, Ken, and so I was like, I want to send you some images, so some pictures that were recently discovered and found up in Pennsylvania, and I gave him the backstory on this to the best of my ability, and I also went on to tell him, Ken, this is not the first person that showed me these exact same tracks from Pennsylvania. The other individual, his name is, I didn't give him no names, but I'll throw it out there. The guy's name is Donald. Donald, who found the same exact identical tracks over 177 miles west from where you're located. And
Really?
yeah, and I was like, when I first saw your tracks, I thought I was seeing almost the same thing. And I know for a fact that you and this other gentleman don't know each other.
No.
And which was what the cool thing about this was. I was like, okay, so I've been ever since I saw your tracks, I became more intrigued, more ever since seeing these tracks from the other individual several years ago. And I was like, what the heck are these? All kinds of different thoughts ran through my head, especially the last time I was up in Pennsylvania, in Marionville, Pennsylvania, at the Forest County Bigfoot Festival. I mean, I've had big people sharing personal encounters and stories from Bigfoot to the Thunderbird, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I got stuck on after seeing these tracks. I got stuck on thinking, could these be some very large bird? I was like, then again, then again, I said, no, they can't be no big bird, no bird enough, because I was like, these seem, as much as I didn't want to admit to it, it's like these seem very reptilian, you know. That's the other thought that ran through my head. I said, these
That's what
resemble.
my wife Sandra kept saying the whole time when we were up there casting, and she said that's what she kept saying is they look reptilian to me. Is she would not go anywhere else, Because when I first
Right,
saw them, that's what I kind of thought was like bird, like a pterodactyl or a thunderbird or something. But
exactly.
then,
That's what was running through my mind, and then all of a sudden, it's yeah. Okay, carry on. I'll let you finish.
oh well, yeah, I was thinking. I was like, well, I don't know about a bird because it has a humanoid looking heel, and she said reptilian, and it just stuck. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And
Yep,
it does too,
exactly.
It's weird. It has that humanoid looking heel, and because you know how like a bird foot usually has that skinny toe pointing back.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, I've seen all kinds of big birds. I've seen turkeys. And by the way, John, John said that he was told by another individual, and I know the individual. I met the individual a couple times. Kept saying, "Oh, they're not bird. They're not this and that." And he said, "Oh no, no." He did say that they were. Those are emu tracks. And I told John, I said, "No way." I said, "Emu tracks." Does the dude ever look at emu tracks? They look like a turkey track, just with fatter toes. I
That's
said,
we went on a TV show, and that's what they said on the TV show that they were emu tracks. And I did a little bit of
no.
research. Emu tracks don't get anywhere near 14 inches long. These tracks were 14 inches long.
Yeah.
A six
I was
foot
like,
tall emu only has a 6 to 7 inch track, and those things
right,
rarely get 6 foot tall anyway. It's like
Right.
It's
And
a
of course, when you look up those tracks, don't they look like a turkey, like a big fat turkey track? You know,
yeah,
to me,
pretty much, but
they're
they
almost
don't have the
identical to a turkey
toes.
track with just fat. You know, the toes a little fatter. Some of them, they have a
Yeah,
very
they
similar
don't have a
display of
toe pointing backwards, but they don't have a heel either. You know, it's
exactly right.
yeah. I got a couple of comparisons I did on my phone of the tracks I found, and then right beside it an emu track, and they look nothing alike. Nothing
Yeah.
alike. Yeah.
So I doubt he's listening right now, but I'm going to throw his name out there. Mr. Johnny Freeman, these are not emu tracks. Get over yourself, okay? I mean, I like you, dude, but, they're not what you think they are. I know you want to discredit everybody from having these possible theories, but they're definitely not emu tracks. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah,
So,
definitely not. They look nothing like emu tracks.
yeah.
Not even
Um,
close.
so back to Lyle. Excuse me. I keep saying Lyle. I don't know why I say Lyle. Back to Ken Gearhart. So I've been in recent contact with him. I've shared him every track that you had of these. When I asked you for the trackway, if you have a picture of a trackway or a video, when you sent me
Yeah.
those, it was for him because he wanted to see the trackway. It would give him more definition and more insight on these.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
after he viewed these, now I'm going to tell you, even before I say any more, even after he viewed these, it gave his honest expertise, his honest expert opinion on this. It still got me scratching my head. It's like that would make more sense, but at the same time, I'm still scratching my head because part of this does not make sense. So now he mentioned, and I looked it up for myself. I did a little bit of research after he shared some stuff with me. But he's telling me that these are alligator tracks, even though he knows alligators are not native to Pennsylvania. But now he went on to say this, and I looked this. Actually, illegally, alligators have been released and has been spotted in the state of Pennsylvania. He mentioned 20 times, but when I looked it up, I read 25 times
Oh,
throughout the state of Pennsylvania. Now, of course,
my wife was saying that too when we found them. She's like, they remind me of alligator tracks, and I was like, yeah,
right.
maybe, I don't know, but alligators, they have 4 toes, not 3.
Actually, five. Actually, technically 5, but
Yeah. Huh.
in what Ken was sharing with me, he said when he was looking at the trackway that you have in the sand, he said you could
Yeah.
almost see the 4th toe in the one particular track, and because he was talking about how the trackway clearly you can see is leading and going directly towards the water like an alligator would do. So
Yeah.
again, yeah, okay, that started to make some sense to me. But what blew my mind is like, okay, I seen your picture. You have a track. You have a track with a measuring tape where the track is nearly 12 inches long. Okay, most average alligator tracks, even a very large alligator, might be 6 to 7, 8 inches long. That's pushing it, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, that's what got me puzzled. I mean, these tracks, yeah, they would almost resemble an alligator, except they're consecutive with 3 toes. Now he mentioned, and I had to look into this myself, but is 3 toes common for an alligator? No, it's very unheard of, really. But he
Right.
went on to mention that it could be a deformity, and, which okay, I can get
That's
that. I can get that,
Yeah, I get
but
that too. But here's the crazy thing, though. When I found this, there were 2 separate trackways,
right,
and they come up out of the water and up the bank right beside each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2 creatures walked up the bank and then walked all over the place. Plus, we could tell they were bipedal tracks. They weren't quadruped.
right,
And the one trackway was different because the left foot had crooked toes, like the toes were deformed.
ah,
I'll have to find some of
interesting.
them pictures and send them to you too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
So
love to
there,
see them for sure. Well,
yeah, we could tell
if
there were
anything,
2 different creatures or whatever made the tracks. There were 2 different specimens there that did that.
right.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
wild.
I watched one of your recent video clips where I guess your vehicle is parked up you can see it through the trees in the woods. Your vehicle is parked up off the road, and then you're down in the woods by the creek. Is that
Yeah,
with a sandbar? Is that the same area you found those tracks before?
yeah, that's the same place. That's the place where I found them. Yeah. Yep.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. 'Cause, yeah, I can't wait to get up there and see this area and find exactly where it's at. Because I spent some time up there and getting to know a couple different areas up there. I'm just curious to know exactly how far. Well, let me ask you this, just out of curiosity, how far is that location from Ohio Pile? Anywhere
About
near
40
there?
miles.
About how
I think
far?
about 4 miles.
Really?
Yeah, High Powell's about, I'd say about, yeah, 3, 4 miles up the mountain a little way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I've
Yeah,
heard
it's
some
pretty
stories and
close.
reports from the Ohio Pile area, and me and
Yeah,
my old
yeah.
girlfriend I dated, we went to Ohio Pile when the girl I used to date. We went up there. We got brought up there from a lady that we met that has property up behind Ohio Pile, and we
Okay,
investigated
yeah.
her property because she had some weird stuff that happened up there. She took us there, and um, but yeah, there's some very interesting stuff because I've heard some other similar stories of that area. So
Yeah,
yeah,
there's been quite a
that's
few
very
sightings up
interesting that
there.
you
Yeah.
said that.
See,
Hmm.
here's something pretty cool about this too. The place where I found the tracks.
Yeah.
Okay. The sandbank, and then if you go across the creek and up that mountainside about 2 miles, there's a people I know that live back there that contacted me and said they both spotted a werewolf creature on their property.
Really?
And they've had me up there for almost a year now investigating. Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
only
because this.
about 2 miles through the woods from where I found those tracks where their property is.
Wow.
And I
Yeah, there's
was
some.
thinking about, like, if you come up and want to do an overnight investigation, we might do it up there on their property.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Because,
interesting because I mean I'm all about that. 'Cause like I said, I know John was trying to tell me it probably is not worth your time to do an overnight camp. I said, well, John, I said I'm coming from over 4 hours.
yeah,
I said I want to get up here. I don't want to have to drive straight back the same day after spending some time up there.
right, right.
I feel like it's at least worth a chance because when it gets dark out, I said that's usually when things get interesting. Anyway, I mean, yeah. So what?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
we may not hear nothing or experience something, but it's just the point of me being up there, you know what I mean, and have to drive back,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
you know, so
But yeah, I'll get in touch with them this weekend and talk to them about it. That's probably what we're going to do if, you guys want to and everything. I was thinking to take you guys up there and we'll do an overnight up there.
yeah. Now John mentioned he probably won't be able to stay the night because him and his wife had plans. I think, okay, that's cool, but
Okay. Yeah, that's
so
fine. That's fine.
yeah, I said I meant to. I was gonna tell him. I said, well, I wasn't gonna invite you anyway, John. I was being nice. No, I'm just joking. But I give John a hard time anyway. He always picks on me. I give it right back to
Oh yeah. Yeah,
him.
John's a pretty good guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one of my recent speakers here in Virginia. So yeah, it was great to
Yeah,
have him here.
yeah, I thought, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, but it's crazy because I spent a lot of time on like both of those mountainsides, and I remembered that people lived back there, and I thought about driving back one day, and then like maybe 2 days later, the woman I know contacted me and said, we got some really weird stuff going on up here. Would you come up and take a look? And when I went up, she told me the story about seeing the werewolf creature, and her husband or boyfriend, he said he saw it too, but he didn't get as good a look at it as she did. He only saw it through like the brush, but he saw it from the waist down. He said it had the backward bent legs, and he said it freaked him out.
yeah.
So
Please
she said
contact them
she
and
saw
ask
it.
if they would be willing to talk about it on camera.
Well, they don't want their names brought up. They want to stay anonymous. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll talk about it. They just probably won't want their faces on camera, but I'm sure
I
they'll
can take
talk
care of
about it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said that
Yeah,
Group of
I
them
could blur
were,
out their faces and not put their names up there.
yeah, yeah. She told me that a group of them were all getting ready to go like quad riding because where they live, it's like they're out in like the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? They're by
Right.
themselves. Their driveway goes pretty far, twisting and turning through the woods. But she said that she was driving up to his place, and it's on a dirt road, and you get so far up, and then the road splits, and if you go left, it goes to his place, and if you go right, it goes out toward a pipeline, like where quad trails and stuff are. He said this thing came up over the hill, walked out on the road, stopped in the middle of the road, turned and looked at her and like snarled, and then turned back around and took off up into the woods. She said it was about 7 to 7.5 foot tall, like grayish and black. And she said, for all intents and purposes, it looked like a werewolf you'd see in a movie.
Right.
And I've known her since I was like a little kid. You know, we grew up together and stuff, and she wouldn't lie to me about this. You know,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. For a while, you hear about dogman reports, werewolf reports.
hmm
And to give you a little background, and for those who also don't realize that I'm very objective when it comes to the dogman itself.
right?
Um, I mean, I'm objective towards a lot of different claims, but over the years, I started to become a little bit more open minded and considerate, towards some of the details. But I'm still very. I guess there's a part of me that's still skeptic when it comes to Dogman.
Yeah.
But
Well, her boyfriend, he even said I got a picture, but you can't really see. And he said that they've had Bigfoot sightings on their property also. He said he went
right,
out on the deck one night because he heard something outside and he went out on the deck and saw one standing by a tree. He said it was about 10 foot tall.
really.
He said
And
it
are these
looked,
the same? Are these the same people that claim have seen the what they call a Dogman or werewolf?
yeah, they got all kind of stuff going on up there. They sent me, I think I sent you those pictures of the green orbs.
I don't know if you did or not. I'm not. Oh, maybe. Well, no, no. I'm thinking about somebody else because I've seen somebody else who's supposed to have something similar. No, I don't think you did.
I'll have to send them to you then because they're the people that gave me those photos too, and they're pretty crazy. But he said he walked
Okay.
out on the deck and he said this thing was standing over there by the tree, and I had him show me on the tree like how tall it was, and I measured it and everything, and it was like 10 feet tall. Said it looked at him, he looked at it turned its head, looked back at him, then just turned around and walked away.
Right.
And he said
Okay.
he stood there for like a half an hour with his mouth hanging wide open, couldn't believe what he saw. And then I guess he saw him again a couple more times running around on his property. He said they hear him all the time. He doesn't go anywhere on the property without a gun in his hand.
Right. Oh
Every
yeah.
time I go up to do something, he always has a rifle in his hand or a shotgun, something.
Well, like I was saying about me being skeptic about the whole Dogman thing. There's a part of me. I'm not afraid to admit to this. There's a part of me that's starting to consider more of that possibility of its existence.
Yeah.
Only for the very fact that during my last Bigfoot conference here in Virginia, I had one individual who pulled me aside towards the end of my event. We went in a separate room and he started talking to me. He started sharing some stuff. He's witnessed and experienced a lot of weird stuff over the years. But he brought me in there to tell me this one particular story, and I know exactly where this location was where he had this experience. And as I tell people, when I listen to somebody's story, and I don't get this way all the time, it's very rare. But when I do, it's very I don't know the best way to put this. But when I get drawn into somebody's story and I'm starting to visualize their story, to me, something about that is telling me that this is a very legit story. Somebody's being serious and one with what they experienced. They really did experience this. This is something that they really did see. that because
Right.
I'm visualizing it. Does that make? I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't get that way all the
Oh,
time,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're so drawn into it because they're explaining it so well that, yeah. Oh, I hear you.
yeah,
Definitely
well,
get right.
exactly. So, but this guy, and something told me before he told me what he saw. Something was telling me. In the back of my head, while I'm listening to his story, I'm hearing in all these details that being shared. This guy saw a dog man. Watch. I'm saying that to myself
Yeah.
because I know the location. I know the layout of the land. I know how thick it is around that lake where he saw this. This lake, this location was right there on the West Virginia line, and he's down there fishing, and he's telling me every detail about what he's doing, grabbing, bending over towards this tackle box, and then he looks up, and there it is, staring at him, slightly hunched over. I'm just not to get into the whole detail of the guy's story, but
Yeah.
I'm seeing everything that he's telling me, and it's like, wow, are you freaking serious? And for the longest time, I was like, well, a lot of people that claim to see Dogman, even Lyle Blackburn, yeah, not Ken Gayhard, but Lyle Blackburn. Me and him spoke at an event together some years ago, and I was surprised to hear him say this because this is something I oddly thought and believe that a lot of people that are claiming to see Dogman, they're seeing a type of Bigfoot that's misidentified. Well,
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
that's still true to a certain extent that for various reasons because I believe there are different types of Bigfoot.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
mean, based off of the region where they live, their environment.
Oh, yeah.
Again, not everybody wants to hear this, but
Right.
me, I look at them as some type of primate. I'm not saying they're equal to our known species of primates that are known to exist, but I believe there are some subspecies that they are similar to. Like, for example, look at the baboon. A baboon has
Mhm.
a tail, baboon has a snout, and they have
Yep.
canines.
Definitely has a snout and canines, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. No,
Exactly.
if you were to see a creature out in the woods that resembled a baboon, you would instantly think that it was like a dog man, you know?
Right. Especially if it was bipedal. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now,
Yeah, because I've heard quite a few encounters of people that, saw creatures that they said looked like baboons and they thought they were like dog men, So it's hard to
right.
say. It's like I
Oh,
try to
yeah.
keep an open mind with all this stuff, but like it gets wild, man. It gets wild. Well, you know
Oh,
how
yeah.
wild it is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Um, so, I don't want to dismiss anybody's story. Everybody
Right.
gives a description to the best of their ability, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, what threw me off for the longest time, I've been on Facebook ever since just before I start, well, not before I got started in this. I was involved. I started research before I got into the social media platform.
Yeah.
But when I got on social media and started finding these groups, all these different Bigfoot groups, and I even joined a couple of the so-called Dogman groups, and just to see what people were talking about, see what they're posting. And what blew my mind, and I had to laugh at this because I was like, "Are these people serious? These are people posting feline tracks. I'm talking about large cat tracks and calling them dog tracks, thinking they're
Oh,
Dogman
yeah.
tracks."
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
and this is what started my thing on like, okay, this made a big thing for me. I was like, I grew up in the outdoors. I was very familiar and acquainted with wildlife and much of the outdoors, but this
Me
made me touch
too.
base more on the wildlife before any Bigfoot or cryptid. People
Yeah,
need to
I'm
learn their
the same
wildlife.
way. Yep.
Yeah. Because I have a phrase, I put it in my books, I put it on my website. Learn and know what is known before seeking the unknown. And,
Exactly.
if you're going to post cat tracks and call them dogman tracks, you got a lot to learn. These are
Yeah.
people older than me and you. You don't mind me asking, how old are you, Chad?
47.
Okay, you're 2 years older than I am. But these are people 50, 60, 70 years old. Supposedly grew up in the outdoors and knew their wildlife, but they're posting all this BS. I said, are these people
Wow.
serious? Come on now. A young child could know better than that. You know?
Yeah, really. Wow.
I mean, that's what blows my cookies. I mean, it's just.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I mean, and when I do presentations, I talk to people. I present the wildlife side of me. And why it's like sometimes I sound like a broken record, and I preach about it. I feel like when I'm doing my presentations and I'm talking to people and they ask questions about it, I felt like I'm preaching like a broken record. Talking about, well, if you're going to claim this as this and don't know what the difference is, you have a lot to learn. And
Yeah.
my thing is, I don't want to insult people. I try not to present myself and put things out there to where I'm insulting people. I want them to think
Yeah.
about what they're saying or what they're doing. I want them to think for themselves. You know,
Right. Yep.
sometimes you have to be blunt. I've learned that over the years. You have to be blunt, and straightforward. Sometimes, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many times I've seen someone show me a picture of a supposed Bigfoot track that you can tell is a bear track.
Exactly. Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen
Yeah.
that. A lot of these Bigfoot groups I'm in. Come on
Yeah.
now. You got these different people posting, hey, look, this is a picture of a Bigfoot track I found. And you clearly see it's a double step bear track.
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, I'll admit some bear tracks can be deceiving. They can be. I've
Oh,
seen that for
definitely.
myself. I
Definitely.
mean, 'cause
Yeah.
we have a lot of bears here in Virginia, and I know you guys have big bears up in Pennsylvania. I know you guys
Yeah.
have a bigger state record bear than we do here in Virginia. But yours is close to 900 pounds. Ours is almost 800 pounds. So yeah, there's big
Actually, yeah,
bears.
there is well, I don't know how true it is, but one of the girls my wife works with grew up there where those people's property is, and her dad supposedly saw a 1,000-pound black bear up there. He said
Oh,
it
I
was
believe
a
it.
monster.
Oh, I believe it.
I just
I
saw
mean,
I just saw a black bear 2 days ago.
yeah. Is that the video you posted?
Well, I got that on the trail camera back where I found those tracks, but I was leaving work. Dude, I think was that yesterday or 2 days ago? Yeah, I was leaving work, and just right down the road from my work, one ran across the road in front of me.
Nice.
It was about the same size as the one I got on the trail camera too. It wasn't real big, but you know what I mean. But yeah, ran right across the road.
Yeah, that's like in my main research area. I was camping out. This was some years ago. I was camping out, but I was decided to ride up right out to it was about 5-6 miles up the forest road to get to the little local country store that's outside where you can get service at.
Yeah.
It was about 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. I was riding up. There was a little car in front of me. I was driving in my Chevy Blazer at the time, and this little car pulls off, lets me pass him. And not long after I'm passing him, one of the biggest bears I've ever seen in person crossed the road on me. And I swear to you not, the top of his back was probably almost a foot over top of the hood of my Blazer.
Oh
And I was like,
wow.
he was a big boy. Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
big boy. Now, my father actually, I believe my father saw the same one almost a month later because during the daytime, this was at nighttime when I seen this. My father was riding up in his, he had a little car at the time. Dad was driving out during the daytime. I wasn't with Dad, but Dad told me he's driving up the road and he told me exactly where he's seen this because there was a dead rabbit in the middle of the road and this big, massive black bear standing there on the side of the road. His head was probably twice the size of his steering wheel, standing there looking at him as he passes by. Dad's like driving by real slow, looking at this bear.
Yeah.
That like Daniel's bear was massive. I was like, it had to have been the same bear. It had to because he must be working that area. Because on the one side there's a creek. When you cross over on the other side, it goes up a small hill. Because that's exactly when he crossed the path across the road on me. I had actually stopped and had my windows down. You could hear him going up that hillside. But he's crossing from that creek going up the hillside. I don't know. Maybe he's living up there. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it might be.
But he was down on the road when Dad saw him. Dad described the biggest bear that he saw. I was like, yeah, they had to been the same bear. And again, this is outside, right over in my main research area. Yeah, well, I know we got big. I've seen big tracks out in the woods belonging to bears. I've seen
Well,
the small juvenile tracks from a bear too. So, but
I got a
this,
decent sized one on a trail camera up in that area a couple of years ago. It was probably 3-4 years ago, I think.
okay,
Yeah, he was probably about I'd say maybe 400 pounds, somewhere around there.
yeah, a 400-pound black bear. That's a nice sized bear. People don't realize
Hmm.
how big these bears actually are and what.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, 400 pounds. Yeah, that thing's like a small tank.
Yeah, I got him and a bobcat and then a bunch of deer on the same, like, you know,
Oh
I'd say
yeah,
in a month's time. Yeah, there was the bear, the bobcat, the bear, and then like a bunch. I always get deer. I get deer like crazy.
yeah. No, you guys have a big deer up there. I know. I spent almost a year up
Yeah.
in Pennsylvania when I was dating the girl I was dating. I moved in with her up there, and I lived there for almost a year. And, but a lot of times we spent a lot of time out there in certain parts of the Forbes State Forest. Are you familiar with the Forbes State Forest any at
Yeah.
all?
Yep.
Yeah, that's where I've seen some strange things up there. Some of the at first time I've ever seen strange lights in the woods. I've seen them up there. Um, but long story short, I've seen a lot of deer up there. I've picked up deer, massive looking deer, either jumping across the road on us, or I've gotten some nice looking bucks on my cameras up there. So
Cool.
yeah, so
Yeah, we got some
yeah,
big ones around here. That's for sure.
yeah. I mean, we got big ones here in Virginia, but Pennsylvania, because of I guess because of the forest and the type of trees and
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like you guys have much bigger deer up there. You know, I'm originally from Massachusetts, and Dad's always told me we have. He said, "Yeah," he said, "I can tell you a 250, 300 pound deer." I said, "What?" Yeah, he said, "We got 250, 300 pound deer up here." Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, growing up hearing that from Dad, I was like, "Okay, well, that's my dad. I gotta believe that." But and then, of course, when you start seeing things for yourself, I'm like, "Okay, these deer are massive. These deer are like." I don't know. Like the ones I see in Pennsylvania, I was like, these are massive sized deer up here. Even the does are big, you know.
I got
So
a couple videos. I think I might have only posted one on my YouTube channel. Of right out the road here, we got a piebald deer one day. We actually saw like two different ones. There were two different ones. I think they're living around here in the woods somewhere.
huh.
Yeah, they're pretty wild looking. They're mostly white, but they got a good bit of brown in them too. They're crazy looking. They're wild.
Right. Now there's some deer species that where it's believed that where white-tailed deer are bred with mule deer, which makes them a bigger species. Mule
Yeah,
deer you tend to be a
yeah,
little bit larger than a whitetail, your average
yeah.
whitetail anyway.
Yep.
Because I read some years ago where some areas where the whitetail will breed with a mule deer, So,
Mm-hmm.
which mule deer are more towards the west, but that doesn't
Yeah, I was
stop.
gonna say they're out west more, yeah, but hey, they
Well, it's
can
like
wander.
mountain lions and wolves. A lot of them more towards the west and northern states. But
Yeah.
the thing is, people don't realize wildlife does not know boundaries.
Boundaries.
They
Yeah,
will
they don't.
travel and they will enter your territory.
Yep.
So, like
They don't pay attention to boundary lines like we do, that's for sure.
exactly, and even though some of it sometimes we get ignorant and cross the lines anyway because we're curious.
Yeah, yeah,
I will admit
definitely.
I've been a bad boy. I've crossed into territories I'm not supposed to just to see what's back there. I
Yeah.
get curious.
I've, I've
So
done the same. I've definitely done the same.
just hope you don't get caught. And
Yep, that's it.
so call the wife. Say, hey, if you don't hear from me, I might be next phone call you get from me. I might be in jail.
Yeah, I had someone take one of my trail cameras and left a note on a tree one time, but I didn't know that we were on their property. So
Oh crap! Wow.
yeah, yeah, a
Well, at
buddy of
least they were
mine.
nice enough to let you know. I mean, that was cool that they didn't take your camera. Like I've had my camera stolen multiple times. So But
Yeah.
yeah, at least that was nice of them. At least leave a note and say, hey, yeah, you're actually on my lot property. Or most people, if they were mean and arrogant, I mean, they could have taken your camera. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
My wife just handed me a note that says, piebald are mutated deer genes. Indians say they are lucky.
hmm.
They're not two different deer that were they have a mutation. It's the
Yeah.
same mutation as a calico cat.
Really?
Yeah, if you go on the Pennsylvania forestry and look up piebald, it gives a whole definition about the
Yeah.
indigenous people, how they're sacred
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I already knew that. Yeah. Yeah, when we first started we saw the mother a few years ago, and then what was it, last year? Yeah, last year we started seeing the smaller ones. There were two of them.
It's because they always jump out in front of me when I'm driving to work.
Yeah. So she started researching about piebalds, and because she's my researcher, she'll start digging into stuff for me.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. The one video we got the one day, it was out here in one of the neighbors' yard eating apples out of their tree.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. So
Something
yeah,
here down the road.
I am definitely looking forward to coming up here in a couple of weeks, meeting up with you.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun, man.
Oh, for sure. Like I
We're
said,
definitely gonna have some fun.
yeah, because I start recording this weekend. I'm meeting up with a real good friend of mine. He's Native American, and he used to come to and he used to attend my events, but his health is not the best. He don't get him, he don't get out that much. But he agreed for me to come up to his house. He lives like a good hour north of me, and so I'm driving up there tomorrow to meet up with him around 1 o'clock, and we're gonna sit outside. The weather's supposed to be great.
Yeah, supposed to be nice this weekend.
Yeah, like today was very comfortable. We finally got some nice, cool temperature. All this week is only supposed to be in the 70s this whole coming week. So,
good.
Yeah, I'm finally ready for a break in the hot temperatures because where I work inside a factory warehouse, and we have no AC in there. There's one department that has AC. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, the thermostat on the wall back by where I work is. If it's 85 degrees outside, it's 100 degrees inside. It's like 10 to 15 degrees hotter than whatever it is outside. So,
I know exactly what you mean. We work in a big steel building. I mean, the one side's like open, and then it's open in the back where I'm at a little bit. But the one corner where I'm at, I have a little thermometer stuck to the wall, and it was 122 the other day.
Oh my gosh, that's hotter than down here.
You got to think we're in a big giant steel building that they painted dark brown.
Well, I mean, ours is a steel building too, but
it turns it into an oven. It's crazy.
Because the machines that we have, we're the company I work for is called Newman Aluminum, and we make military. We make military weapons and casings and stuff.
Oh, okay. But, yeah. I saw a few of the pictures you posted before about.
Yeah. And the machines that put out these parts they're called presses, and the parts are very hot when they get put out. Because I mean, because where I work I help out catching some of those, but most of the time I'm in the back running the scrap baler, they call it, and even in working way in the back, away from all the presses, you can tell that when the machines are up and running, it gets smoky, cloudy inside that shop, in that warehouse. And it's like, I mean, there's usually one machine that puts out the smoke. It's called the X1200, and they put out a lot of the big parts. A lot of the parts they run, we do run parts and stuff that are made for vehicles, automobiles and stuff, like different suspension parts for trucks and stuff. So yeah, that particular machine, those products usually come out very hot. Normally, you have to use a. You're wearing gloves, but you have to use a stick to scoop out and carry the part and put it in the bin. That's how you can't touch it with your hands; it'll burn your hands off. So, but
all that heat plus the heat outside. Oh man,
yeah.
Imagine.
Absolutely. So, real quick, I wanted to ask you too. Now, John had us. He's setting up for us to meet at the old mall off of 119.
Yeah.
How far? That's roughly about what 10 to 15 minutes from where you want to take us.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very close. Very close to where we're gonna go.
Awesome. So yeah, I got to remind John too. I was like, I told him, I said, I told him I want to interview him too, but I said I want to make sure I get you, and like
Yeah.
I want to film both you and him, but I want to film you walking through the woods, kind of walking me through the area, and kind of going from there, and like
Yeah.
I'll fill you guys more in person about what I want to do there as well. So
Okay. Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
but yeah, like I said, I got some filming this weekend. Um, and then I want to, get both you and John, so
Okay. Sounds
yeah,
good.
I think it'll be a great time. So, um, now as far as how long have you been involved with the research doing the whole Chestnut Ridge Paranormal that you do?
I'd say what, about 10 to 12 years.
Okay, yeah, very cool.
10 to 12
Now,
years. I've been out in these woods. Well, I grew up in these woods around here too. I know them like the back of my hand. You know what I mean? Ever since I was a little kid.
right,
Hell, the woods around here were our playground.
nice, very
Yeah.
nice. What would you say as far as any experiences? I'm just curious, and for those listening, what would
Oh.
be your most craziest experience that you've ever encountered or had?
Hmm. Well, other than finding those tracks, that really blew my mind because when I found the tracks, when we were casting them, a game warden showed up and he come over, looked around for a second, started rubbing out the tracks with his foot.
What?
Oh yeah. I
He started
screamed
doing
at
that with
him.
him?
Yeah, he come over
Mm,
and he looked around for a minute. He didn't look surprised at all. And he started rubbing the tracks out with his foot.
wow.
I screamed
As
at
if
this
he.
guy to stop, and my wife said she was scared to death that he was going to arrest me for something stupid, because I was screaming at him.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Like
I was
he knew
excited,
what they
man. I was
were.
in the moment.
Yeah, it's like he knew what they were and didn't want nobody to. Like he was trying to hide evidence.
Yeah, yeah. I even asked him, I was like, hey, man, level with me. Have you ever seen anything like this before? And he looked around for a minute. He looked straight at me in the face and said, yeah, you'll have that. Turned around, got in his truck, and left.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
Wow. Man, that guy.
That was
Man, I
wild.
wish I was there. I would say, I don't know. I don't know what I would have said something to him smart. You were better off than I would. I would have said something smart ass to him because I deal with a lot of game wardens here in Virginia, and I'm usually pretty
Yeah,
cool and chill with them because they're pretty laid back and chill down here on the most part. Because a
yeah,
lot of them, they'll pull into your campsite. We could, I could be camping in the national forest, and they'll pull into your campsite just to check on you, make sure you're not doing nothing illegal and all that crap.
right.
And well, long story short, back up a little bit. There used to be an old timer that used to walk this particular area. He got to know me, and he's like, "Oh, you're the Bigfoot people." I said, "Yep." And he didn't get into much, but he was like, "Yeah, if you guys got trail cameras in the woods, make sure you take them out when you leave." I said, "All right, that's understood." No, not me. I leave them out for months on end. but but now there's the game wardens and the special officers that work the area. They're younger people now. They're much younger,
Yeah, yeah,
and so they'll come in there, they'll shoot the shit with you a little bit, and I get into conversations with them, and then I bring up, we start talking about Bigfoot. Well, sometimes they'll ask me about Bigfoot because they'll see the details on my car,
yeah,
and
yep,
like the last group of guys that came in there, because I think I had my grandson with me. He said, "Oh, I gotta ask." They came out. The two young guys came out of their truck. He said, "Gotta ask." He said, "Have you seen him?" I said, "Seen who?" "Bigfoot." I said, "Oh, well." Then I get into my, I'll talk to him about that, and all that good stuff. And then it gets to the point where I'll start asking them questions because I have to see what each one says to see if there's anything different. I'll get into talking to them about mountain lions, and that's always an interesting thing because mountain lions, pretty much, they're quick to shut you down on that. Even though I could be an eyewitness, which I have been an eyewitness to one, and I have spoken to several eyewitnesses on mountain lions in Virginia. But almost every game warden or officer I spoke to regarding that has the same line, same speech. I said, man, you guys are trained well, aren't you? I said, you guys are quick to throw out the same line, every one of you, you know.
Yeah.
But some of them, I got to the point where I was like, I listen to what they have to say, and I've gotten to the point where I just let it go into one ear and out the other. So yeah, you guys are a joke. But that's pretty much what it boils down to. They all have the same line. They don't want you to know that the mountain lions. Yeah, we know they're here. We don't want you to know that. But even though people like
Right.
me, we've seen them. I found their tracks during the wintertime. You know, yeah, I have yet to. I would love to capture one on my cameras. I've gotten bobcats 2 different times, but that's about it. So
Yeah, me too. Yep. I've never got a mountain lion yet on a trail cam. I got bobcat twice. I got fisher cats a few times. I
mm.
swear
And
one day I could swear I think I heard a mountain lion chirping.
yeah, they do chirp. Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I looked it up and and that's exactly what I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people around here that swear up and down that they've seen them in the woods around here. My grandpap used to tell me stories about them all the time.
Yeah.
I
I
mean, that
believe
was
it.
a
Yeah.
long time ago, but still, I mean,
Right.
they
Yeah.
always have to deny it, of course.
Yeah, and I've been in discussions with other people regarding the mountain lion thing, and like why, question is why would they deny it? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Well, one, you're spending time and families spend time going into the national state parks.
Right.
They spend money there. One, they don't want to set the fear factor out there. It's like if they admit to that there's mountain lions or these predators out there, or even throw even Bigfoot out there. Well, if they even knew Bigfoot exists, they're not going to say anything. They're going to deny it because one, they don't want people to get scared because people spend money to go out there. There goes the economy side of things, spending
Oh yeah.
money. The second thing is, yeah, again, they don't want to put the fear factor out there in people because if the fear factor goes out, then there goes the economy. So
Yep. Yeah, they
so
want
there's a
people
number of
to
things.
use the resources and go to the parks and everything. Yeah.
Back out in many years ago, back in the '60s and even early '80s, when the spotted owl was officially discovered out there in Washington State. Now the
Yeah.
spotted owl, it's a small bird. It's not a big bird like most owls usually are. But when that spotted owl was officially discovered, it went on the endangered species list. What happened then? It immediately got put
Devastated
on.
the lumber industry out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They shut down the whole economy down there, and people were out of work, and all this crap happened. And so imagine if a species like even Bigfoot, say, yeah,
Right.
we have a humanoid, hairy Bigfoot creature living out there among us. Then all these legal factors come into place. Well, hey, we're destroying his habitat. Well,
Yeah.
they would put out all kinds of crazy stuff would happen. Then the fact that people be scared to go out there and spend time out in the woods. People
Right.
like me and you, we don't care, but
Nope.
we're out there to learn as what we can about them. So
That's it. That's all I'm trying to do is learn as much as I can about some of the questions I have.
yeah, I mean, people like me and you, we don't want to go out there and hurt nothing. I mean,
No.
here in Virginia, I have a concealed carry permit. I mean, I
Yeah.
go out there and carry because I know what other predators are out there. I go out there to protect myself and
Oh
anyone
yeah,
with me.
definitely.
I'm not out there to kill no Bigfoot, but if I felt threatened or if I was being attacked, that might be a different story. So,
Right.
so
Self-preservation kicks in. Hey,
yep, exactly. But it is what it is.
Oh,
So, Well, tell you what, Chad. Is there anything you want to throw out there for the listeners before we jump off here?
Yeah, go check out my YouTube channel. It's called Chestnut Ridge Paranormal. I have 194 videos, I think. I have some pretty interesting stuff on there. I
Very
mean,
nice.
some aren't so interesting, but then there's a few that are pretty good. I got one. This is what I was going to tell you. One of the weird things that happened to me. It was in the same basic area that I found the tracks, but it was like maybe about a mile back the creek. So you go back a little further, and the road goes to a big parking lot, and then up above the parking lot, there used to be like an old logging road up through there. You have to go across the creek, get to the other side, and it goes up a little further. There's an old cemetery up on the side of the mountainside. I was up in there one day making a video for my YouTube, and I was in the cemetery, and videoing around, and there's only like two tombstones in there. One's like really small, and then there's a bigger one that people put there a few years back. The rest of the graves are marked with big rocks. That the cemetery is so old, the stones that were there disintegrated, and all the graves are marked with big rocks now. But I was walking around there talking, and I walked up the hillside a little further, and I heard it about 15, 20 yards off in the other side of the brush. I could hear sounded like something walking. It sounded like a large heavyset person walking with me down along the ridge, I kept trying to see, I couldn't see. I couldn't see through the brush, I couldn't see anything, but I could hear it plain as day. It sounded like a big person walking out through the woods with me. So I started walking back down toward the cemetery, and I just started talking, acting like I didn't hear it. And the whole time I'm paying attention to it, listening to this, whatever it is, walk. So I keep going and going. I get down by the cemetery, and I shut up and pan the camera over, and you can hear two branches breaking like it took two more steps and then stopped. So I ran across the cemetery. I half expected a person to jump out, or a bear, to jump out of the weeds at me, but there was absolutely nothing over there.
Wow.
Nothing at all. And I even went around with the video. I was all through there looking, and there was nothing there.
Wow. Sound like something was watching and following you.
Yeah, that was weird, man. That was one of the weirdest things that's ever. It was really creepy, but really cool at the same time. It was strange.
Wow.
That's the first time. Well, actually, that's the only time that's ever happened to me in the woods, and that was wild. It creeped me out, but yet it was exciting at the same time. You know what I mean? It was weird. It was really weird.
Yeah. And this is in a different area, not the area that you're going to take me to. Is this a whole totally different area?
No, it's only like a mile up the creek from where I found the tracks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's in the same area. We've had it. And my wife, the one day we were back there, she found the biggest pile of scat I've ever seen in my life. Huge. I'll either send you the pictures or I'll show them to you when you come up. But I took pictures of it, man. It's as big around as my water bottle that I have in the picture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And if it's bear scat, then that is a monster bear. I don't think it is bear scat because it really doesn't look like bear scat, but I don't know, man. It was crazy. We were out, her and I were just out for a hike that day. We weren't even really doing anything, we were putting trail cameras out, weren't we? Yeah, we were out putting out trail cameras trying to see if we could figure out what made those tracks. And I almost stepped. I didn't even see it and almost stepped in it. And she screamed. She's like, "Stop!" When she screamed, "Stop!" I thought she saw like a creature or something because that's straight where my mind goes. Yeah. Man, I tell you, I about had a heart attack. I turned around and looked at her. My eyes were probably as big as saucers. And she's like, look, you almost stepped in it. I looked down and there it was a huge pile of scat.
Wow.
Unreal. But I got
Yeah.
quite a few pictures of it with my water bottle beside it. And you can see it's almost as big around as my water bottle. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, I definitely would like to check that area out as well when I come up. And I have seen massive piles of bear scat before. I mean, and not
Yeah,
all bear scat looks the same. Some of it varies, depends on their diet, you know. So,
right.
but, hmm. But yeah, I'm curious to check that area out as well. So yeah, we'll definitely cover all that when we do, when you show me the area, and we'll do a little
Yeah.
investigating up there. So most definitely. So, but
It's gonna get
okay.
interesting, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what to expect. That's like I tell people, when we do our group campouts, there's nothing guaranteed. But
Right.
we
Right.
we always pick up on something or something. Like our last camp out, yeah, we had a couple of interesting things that happened, but like I said, they're unexpected. You don't plan for them, but you hope for
Right.
something. You know,
Yeah. Yep.
so but yeah, we'll see how things go, and when we get up there and all that good stuff, and then go from there. But
Yeah.
so. Yeah, so yeah, anyone listening, the series, you will see Chad on our upcoming series on our next episode for Bigfoot Explorers, which could only be viewed on YouTube right now. So feel free to check that out. YouTube channel, Bigfoot Zone, ECBRO. Again, look up Bigfoot Explorers from the ECBRO. We have our first episode that's been out, and it's been doing pretty well. So there's more information about that we'll touch base on in the future. And we encourage you to follow and subscribe. So, but Chad, I want to thank you so much for being on here and jumping on here and chit chatting with me and sharing, your knowledge and experience on what you've had so far. And I know there's a lot more we can get into, but yeah, this has been a great night. And I hope for those listening, I hope you guys enjoyed and share this around, and we'll be talking more in the future for sure. But thank you again, Chad, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you for having me on, Dan. It was an honor.
Most definitely, most
Had a good
definitely.
time. Had a great time talking, man. This was
Oh, for
good.
sure. And I'll throw it out there, if you're able to make it, you're more than welcome. But our next group camp out is here in Virginia. It's May 15th through the 20th. You're more than welcome to come if it's something you're able to join. Just let me know.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Cool.
So, but thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, keep it squatchy, everyone. We're out.